All right, folks, welcome back. Hope everybody's having a great winter. Hey, here in Alberta recently, we had a cold snap. It was like minus 35 for about a week steady. Not the best weather to go backpacking in, which is why I'm doing more gear reviews. And today I'm going to talk to you about Vevor's mid-size vacuum sealer. So this is not an industrial model. This is, your countertop model for at home. And if you're wondering why, a channel geared towards the outdoors and backpacking and things like that would do a review of a vacuum sealer, well, let me tell you, a lot of advantages to using a vacuum sealer when you're going hiking or canoeing. Vacuum sealers are good for pulling the air out of a bag. And so when we're going hiking, weight is a factor, but so is volume sometimes. So being able to pull, you buy some things that have air in it, so if you can pull the air out of it, makes it useful. The other thing that's useful about a vacuum sealer is it pulls the air out and it seals and it's watertight. So again, when you're backpacking or canoeing, going on a long trip, having things that are stored in bags that are sealed, that are watertight until you need them, is a very useful feature. So I'll show you a couple of tricks for backpacking. I'm also going, otherwise I'm going to do a basic unboxing. I'm going to show you what the unit comes with, some of the basic features and how to use it, and hope you enjoyed this video. All right, Vevor tough tools, half price, and everything is safely packaged, and the delivery was like fast. By the time they sent me a shipping label, it came really quickly. All right. So first off, a couple of bags of vacuum seal, or a couple of storage bags. Actually, they come in long rolls and you cut them to the length that you need. I've had a vacuum sealer before. So this one looks like it's about 9 inches wide and this one's 12 inches. And then the unit itself, get it out. Oh, ooh. Giant bags, really big bags. We'll put those there. And then, is this bag. Vacuum sealer instructions. And actually, from my experience with the little diesel heater, the instructions are quite good. And you can download them on the internet as well. And then, this way, my wife likes to keep the boxes because when we're not using something, she likes to put it on the shelf or in a box and put it away. And there you go. Oh, and a couple of another bag. That looks like a sealing element, a spare rubber sealing element, and I'm not quite sure what this is, but I'll find out. So it comes with some parts. Okay. So let's look at it real quick. All right. Close, open, close. I'll come back to that. It's stainless steel, hard plastic, and then there's a spot for wrapping the extension cord. Obviously the extension cord is polarized, so there'll be, there's a large and a smaller side, so you can't put it in the wrong way into the wall socket. And on top you got a nice comprehensive display. We'll go through that when we're demonstrating it, but different ways of sealing. So you got dry, moist, and extended, which is basically how hard you want to pull. You know, you can set the pressures. You got an automatic button, a manual button. You can pulse, you know, just and then you can do canisters. You can do things out. You know, basically a vacuum sealer is a vacuum pump. It pulls a vacuum and removes the air from a bag or from a container, and then it seals it. And the way this works is, well, actually, this is the storage for the bags, which is integrated. And then you lift this, the bag goes underneath, and then you use this sliding blade to cut the bag to the length you want. Then you tuck it in there, turn it on, it pulls a vacuum, removes the air out of the bag, and then this is a hot heating element, and when that gets hot, it seals the bag. So the function's pretty straightforward. Yeah, there's two sealing elements, so they gave us an extra one and then an extra heating element. And here's the hose. So the hose can be detached from or stored in there, and then the hose can be inserted here. And then once the hose is inserted here, I can use this to pull a vacuum either on a non-sealable bag, like I could pull a vacuum on a Ziploc bag, I'll show that, or I can pull a vacuum on a mason jar or something else. All right, so if I'm going on so my wife buys sausages like this in a value pack. So I'm going to go if I'm going on a hiking trip, I'm going to take 3 sausages and vacuum seal 3 sausages. Or I could vacuum seal those sausages just to store them. I mean, I could store 4 and 4 and 4 and get ready that way. All right, so my 3 sausages that I'm going to seal. All right, just for demonstration purposes, I brought it into my office, kind of my studio. And this is live, like I haven't even tried it yet. I haven't even put anything. So first things first, I'm going to plug it in. And then as soon as I plug it in, I don't know if you can see that, but a couple of things came on. It's on dry, but I'm going to put it on, instead of dry, I'm going to put it on extended, and then normal vacuum instead of gentle, and then vacuum seal. So it's all ready to go. All right. Now, I'm going to grab one of these. I'm going to grab the small roll, the small bag first. So, step 1, put the bag in there, lift this up. Now, I need, not a lot of bag, just enough to hold that. So the first thing I need to do, first of all, is seal one end of this bag, because this is open. So I'm going to seal this end. Once I get going, then I'll always have a sealed end. So to do that, I close it, and then I'm just going to hit the manual seal button. And it's counting down. It wasn't really hot, maybe 8, showing me the progress, 7. So it takes a couple of seconds until it gets warmed up. Okay, so that's done. I can release it. And look at that. The end of the bag has a beautiful double seal. You don't want to waste a lot of your bags, so you want to cut it at about the size that you need. So for these 3 little things, even that's a little bit too wide. I'm going to keep it wide for this one because it's the first one. So then you slide this across, and then you remove it. Look at that. Now I got a bag that's open on one end and sealed on the other. Now I'm going to take my 3 sausages. I can do this with my hands. My machine, I don't care. Put my 3 sausages in there. Now, I got my 3 sausages. I might not have left a lot of space for the vacuum sealer. I might regret this bag. I might need to get a smaller bag because I need to be able to... Okay, see how it has to at least sit on this sealing element, and then I got to be able to close it. So now if I close it, technically it should be able to seal. Let's see if it does. I might not have used enough bag, And then I'm just going to hit the auto function, and you should see it pull the air out of this. Okay, now that's my fault. Let's stop it. It's instead of 3 sausages, I'm gonna do just 2. Hopefully, then I got more. Actually, just as a demonstration, I'm gonna do 1 because that's my fault. First time on this system, I didn't use enough, leave enough bag to get a proper seal. Now let's try it again. Now you can see it pulling. Look at that. Look at that. It's just instantly pulling a vacuum. I can even see liquids coming out of the sausage. It's calculating 5. It's doing its timing thing. Now I imagine it's sealing. The light came on the seal unit. It's like Christmas. We're all waiting. Now it released the pressure. And look at that. I have a nice double seal. This is it's tight. All the air is sucked out of it. And what I can do now is I can cut this excess. This is unfortunately this is no longer useful, but I can cut this and then I can store it in the freezer, or if this was dry goods, I could put it in my backpack as is. Here's a close-up of the control panel. So the sealing selector, whether you want to do dry, moist, or extended, and then you have a pressure setting of normal and gentle. There's a display, countdown display. The vac seal button is basically fully automated function. The manual seal is just to seal a bag. Pulsing is so you adjust the pressure or the vacuum by just pulsing it a couple of times. Then there's a cancel button, and of course canister and marinade, and the outlet for the hose. The upper top sealing element, hose storage, bag storage, the cutter, bottom sealing element, and Teflon over the heating surface. Okay, let me just clarify on these 2 buttons here. Sealing here is the length of time that the heating element will fuse the plastic. So dry is sort of the fastest normal setting. Then it's got moist and extended. Extended will seal a little bit longer if the contents of the bag are wet and you're scared of them, leaking out kind of thing. Pressure is normal or gentle. So I'm going to demonstrate the gentle pressure right now using a bagel. There you go. Made a double seal. Now I'm going to take my bagel. I mean, yeah, bagel's probably not something I would vacuum seal, but I just want to demonstrate, really more than anything else, I want to demonstrate the gentle approach. So if I put it in like this, and for pressure I choose gentle, and then hit the vac seal, let it do everything else automatically, it'll suck it down, but probably not the full 90 kPa of vacuum. Ooh. Okay. That's interesting. That is definitely harder than I expected. I'm going to stop it. That bagel, friends, is rock hard. Let's do something here. Hang on, leave that there. That poor bagel's had better days. It sucked. Okay, well that's a good demonstration. It really sucked too much. So I will now instead I will demonstrate what I should have done. Okay, the bagel experiment was interesting. So let me show you this will show you exactly why you want to use the pulse setting once in a while. So here's some crumpled up toilet paper, okay? And now if I really just set this on automatic and pull, I am almost certain that the vacuum machine will suck this down to a pancake. So I'm going to put it in the vacuum sealer like this, close it, but instead of going on automatic, hitting the vac seal, I'm going to just pulse it. So listen carefully, see what happens when you pulse it. So I can choose where I want to, how much I want to evacuate this. Now let's say I'm happy with this, then I can do my manual seal. And there you go. So it is sealed. And if this was a piece of bread or something fragile that I didn't want to completely squeeze the air out of it, you pump it gently until you get to the point where you're happy. All right? Okay. The previous toilet paper experiment gave me an idea. When I go on a long hike, sometimes typically 3-4 days I bring one roll of toilet paper. But if I was going on 4, 5, 6 days, I might need to bring 2. And toilet paper takes up space, and usually I just put them in a simple Ziploc bag like this. But I could also take a roll, let's say my second roll, my roll the roll that I'm going to use on day 3 or 4, not the roll that I'm using on day 1. So the roll that I'm going to use later on, I can actually do this. There's nothing. So I can put it in there, hit dry, hit normal, really pull the pressure on it, and then suck it down. And now, instead of a bulky bag or a toilet paper roll, it's compressed. And trust me, when I rip it open in the field on day 4 or 5, it ain't gonna. I'll be able to unspool a few sheets and do my business. But in the meantime, this is easy to put in the bottom of my pack. I can even forget about it. I could even keep one as an emergency, and I'm also guaranteed that it's not going to get wet. So just an idea. You can use these things for all sorts of things. You can. It's not just food. You could use it to store parts or whatever, anything that you don't want to get wet. Now here's something else I want to mention. The ends of the bag, the roll of the bag can be rolled out, and you can make bags all sorts of sizes. You can make narrow. I could even cut it across here and make teeny weeny little bags, right? So here's another example. I just said with the toilet paper, it doesn't have to be food. It could be something else. So let's say you want to keep 2 spare batteries in your backpack, and you don't want them, you want to be safe and sure they don't get wet. Well, actually, I'm going to put them both at the end like this. And so I can seal like this. I'm not even pulling the air out of this one. I'm just sealing them. Because it's too narrow anyways, I couldn't pull the air properly, but I'm just going to seal it. So then, okay, I didn't have quite enough bag, but I still got a seal. But look, I got a double seal here, so I'm going to drop the batteries to that end, and then I'm going to seal here. Okay, nothing stopping me from doing that. And then, after I get that, I'm just going to cut that excess right there. And there you go. It's an idea. It's just an idea. You could store, I could make a little first aid kit that I forget about. I could put batteries, I could put bandages, rope, anything I want. and vacuum seal it and put it in a waterproof bag like that, and there you go. It's just when you're in the back country, it makes it safer. Now here's another thing that's handy about a vacuum sealer. So this is an adventure meal. This is a dehydrated meal in a bag, but it's got a lot of air. And if you bring 3 or 4 of these and you try to, compact them, they're bulky. And so even though they're lightweight, but they're still bulky. So what some people like to do is they rip these open, dump the content into one of these vacuum bags, and then repackage it. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so a couple of things. First of all, so the only disadvantage to doing it this way now is that you won't have, the bags can be used to pour water in and cook. So if you transfer it to another system, then you will lose the ability to do that, and you'll have to cook it or rehydrate it in your pouch. Or some guys still bring the bag, and I'll show you what that looks like. So, all right, so I'm going to put the contents in the bag. Okay. I'll put it in there, and actually I'm going to keep this. Now, you could roll this up if you're gonna, and you could bring this in. You could bring one of these bags in the field with you, or you could even throw it in there. And then if you throw it in there, you still have the instructions, or you could just cut the instructions. But for this demonstration, I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to leave it in there. I mean, it's all about reducing volume. All right, so I'm going to leave it like that. Let's go seal this one. All right. I'm trying to get make the bag as small as possible, like that. Hit close, hit vacuum seal, vacuum and seal. It is now sealing. I don't think you can see how rock hard that is. Wow, that's cool. Super cool. Check out how well that turned out, and like it's solid, it's solid compared to this. So volume wise, now if I do, if I'm going on a 5-day trip and I get 5 of these, I can stack them easily in my bag, and they take up a lot less space. And you can do the same thing with other things. I like bringing these out as well on hikes, and same thing. They're packaged with a ton of volume. Now, I used to take them out sometimes and just put it in a Ziploc bag, but there's almost no additional cost to using the vacuum sealer to do that. All right, so I was trying to come up with a clever way to test the canister feature, and here's what I came up with. All right, so I took just a normal, jar, and then I put a little hole in there so I can put the hose. And because normally a mason jar that can be vacuum sealed would have like a rubber check valve in there. Now, I took a Ziploc bag and I put a little bit of air in it, okay? Now I'm going to put it in here, in this jar. And what happens is I'm going to put the lid on. And when I turn it on, it's going to pull a vacuum. And what it does, so I'm going to have a vacuum in the bottle, but the bag itself has trapped air. So the air in the bag will want to expand. So if this works, it'll expand probably until it pops. Ready? Let's see what it does. There it goes. How cool is that? How cool. Oh, now there's pressure. I can't even open this jar because there's so much pressure, so I have to release it. There you go. So you know it was under vacuum, and the bag popped open. Just because it's so fun to use the machine. So I made a bag, actually. I sealed two sides of the bag to make it a little bit narrower. And then I'm going to show you another thing. I love bringing smoked oysters, but the problem with smoked oysters is, or smoked mussels, well, it's not a problem per se, but is that they're in a tin can like this. And then in the bush, I have to wash the tin can and bring it back home. You can't burn this, not even in the fire. So now another trick is to put these into a bag and vacuum seal it. And whoops, hopefully that didn't make a mess. I'll show you that real quick. Now the trick here is to make sure to try not get, oils all on here, because this is the part that's going to go in the vacuum sealer. So I'm going to put it in there. There. All right, they're in the bag. I'm going to try and level it in the bag a little bit. And then let's go seal that. Unit is ready. Actually, the bag could have been, I'm going to cut the bag and make it a little bit shorter, because the bag could be,
you have a bunch of oil all over it and lower.
I know. That's okay. That's like a lot of things. You got to learn, you got to practice, and things will get better as you practice. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I don't want oil going in there. So I'm going to put it like this. Close it. I'll probably end up sealing it twice. I'm gonna leave the settings. Actually, I'm gonna put it on moist setting, because the bag could be a little bit wet. Normal pressure, and let it do its thing automatically. Yeah, so that's why there's a moist setting and because, so you see what happens here. This is actually, I wonder if this can be removed. No, but this can be wiped. So this is a chamber, and yeah, I got a little bit of liquid in here, so I can wipe that down and clean it. And that's something that is likely to happen. Let's say this was a sauce, like a spaghetti sauce. When I put it in there, as it's drawing the vacuum, the bag gets a bit wet. So when it's on this setting, on moist or extended, it's because the bag is wet, and therefore it provides a little bit more heat and a little more sealing time to make sure. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the excess and clean that off. But there you go. I can take oysters in the field by vacuum sealing them. Okay, so there you have it. It was a quick review. It's a fantastic unit. It works. It's easy to use. It's intuitive. The instruction manual is great. I showed you a couple of things that you can do with it around the house, or in my case, going on outdoor adventures. If you've never owned one, you're going to experiment with it. You're going to learn tricks. You're going to learn how to effectively use it, avoiding little problems, but it's like anything else, you have to learn it. So anyways, I'm impressed with the tool. Now, the fine folks at Vevor provided an affiliate code, so it's down below in the description. It costs you nothing to click on that affiliate code, and if you do, you'll get like a 5% or a 10% discount. And give me a like, a subscribe, and hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know some comments. And as always, it's Marty saying, get off the beaten path, folks.